Hello and welcome to the first of what I hope is going to be a series of programs about health and all aspects of health care. Today we're talking about dementia, which is a condition which affects growing numbers of us. In fact, I think something like 38% of us either know somebody or have a family member living with dementia. So today we're going to try and answer some of those frequently asked questions about it and maybe allay some of those natural anxieties. And I'm joined by Ruth Ely, who's the Vice Chair of Life Story Network, and which is a member of the Liverpool Dementia Action Alliance, and by Tommy Dunn, who is himself actually living with dementia.
Hello.
So Ruth, to begin with, just tell us what is dementia.
Dementia is the umbrella term. It's a syndrome of over 120 different conditions. The one most people are familiar with probably is Alzheimer's disease. It's the most common, followed by vascular dementia. A lot of people have both, so they have a mixed dementia, but there are other forms of dementia as well. How it affects you depends on which part of the brain is affected, because dementia is a disease of the brain. So it can affect your memory. That's the thing that people usually associate with dementia, but it doesn't affect everybody's memory. And I'm sure Tommy will explain soon that for him that's not a big issue. So it can affect your memory, it can affect how you process information, how you make sense of things. It can affect your visual perception. And it can affect your behaviour if a particular part of your brain is damaged.
So Tommy, you have first-hand experience of living with dementia. Can you tell us a bit what it means in your day-to-day experience?
Yes, I have what's known as young onset dementia, Alzheimer's, and it's a struggle every day. People say that we suffer with Alzheimer's, with dementia. We don't suffer, we live with it. There's no pain, actual physical pain with it. It's just a term that people like to use to say they suffer with dementia. And people are terrified in case they get a diagnosis of dementia, because they think their life's going to be filled with pain. And we've got to get that away from it. And it's the likes of the groups with SAFE and through Life Story Network, we're changing people's perception of what it's like to have dementia, that you can live well with dementia and you can contribute to society. If you give us a chance, we'll show you what we can do, because we're fed up hearing people saying, we can't do that, they can't do this. We can do it. You give us a chance, we'll prove we can do it. And sometimes we can do it even better.
It's great to hear you being so positive about it. I mean, you mentioned when we were talking before about it being a struggle. So, I mean, inevitably, life is tougher with it.
Well, life is very tough. I mean, I had to give up driving because it's not so much my memory that's affected. Some of my short-term memory is affected, but maybe spatial awareness. And so everything seems nearer than it's. And I perceive when I go into shops and there's black mats in front of the shop, it looks like a deep hole. So I've got to take a leap of faith to actually go into a shop. And people think everything's about memory, and people say, the worst thing about people say to me is, how can you have dementia if you can talk? We don't lose our intelligence when we get dementia. We just lose our touch with the community, because the people are frightened of dementia, because the word dementia is too closely related to the word demented. And the very word dementia comes from a Latin word, which means which means without, and ment is the masculine word for mind. So dementia means without mind. And I can tell you, people with dementia are not without mind. We have got minds, and we like to use those minds.
But obviously this puts a big strain on your family and your wife, and your wife is acting as your carer?
My wife is acting as my carer. For 2 years after I'd been diagnosed, my wife was grieving. And I used to get fed up with people coming up and saying to her, how's Tommy? It must be terrible for you. And I'm there. When you're given a diagnosis of dementia, you hold out both hands. In one hand, they give you the diagnosis of dementia, and in the other hand, they give you this superpower. And the superpower is the ability to become invisible. Because once you get dementia, you become invisible. Because people talk about you, over you, around you, but they never talk to you. And it's the same for the family carer. They've become the invisible person now. They're pushed to the background now. As I come and speak out more now, and get a profile about dementia, My wife's been pushed further and further into the background, and people come up and talk to me, and they don't talk to me. So the role's reversed now, and that's something we've got to change.
And your wife is going to be quite happy about that.
Well, she wasn't happy about being pushed into the background, because she's doing so much, and the carers should be at the forefront of dementia, not behind. They need to lead us. They don't need us pushing us along. If they lead us, we can go along, and what we need them to be is like the American footballer. We're the quarterback now, and we've got the blockers, so they get the people out the way and let us come through and say what we want to say.
And Ruth, is obviously, I mean, from what Tommy is saying, it's a process of educating the rest of us into what dementia means and how it is to live with it. So can you tell us a bit about the Dementia Action Alliance and what that job is?
Okay, well, it's part of a national movement. It started with the National Dementia Action Alliance about 4 years ago. And from then, local alliances have started to spring up. In Liverpool, there are about 34, 35 organisations that are signed up as members. We got off to a flying start because in Liverpool, this decade is the year of the decade of health and wellbeing. And the leaders in the city decided that 2013 2013 would be the year of action on dementia. So we had a year of getting people around the table, working out what needed to be done, how we were going to work together, what the priorities would be, and very quickly realised that we needed people with dementia and family carers at the table, because I can tell you what people tell me about having dementia, but only Tommy and other people who are actually living with it can tell it as it is and tell the lived experience. So we've got about, as I say, just over 30 members. We meet on a quarterly basis, and we have a small coordinating group that meets in between to make sure that things are happening. And our vision is to help Liverpool to become a dementia-friendly city. So it's much wider than health and social care. We've got arts and culture organisations involved. We're filming this in Mersey Travel, and they've been incredibly helpful and supportive in the work that we're doing on transport. We've got housing, the police, fire service, etc. A very wide range of organisations involved.
And Tommy, can you tell us a bit about SURF?
Yes, SURF is a group of people, service users and our carers, and it was formed a year ago in March. During that time, we've done transport, and we're the first group in the country to actually have someone that's sitting on the national transport group, together with Life Story Network. But the group itself, they've changed policies on health, on well-being, on housing. We actually go into houses, we go into universities. We've been into John Moores University, Liverpool University. We teach medical students about dementia. And it's surprising that you can get third-year medical students and they don't know about dementia. So they're into the third year, and it's only until we actually go and talk to them that's their first contact with people with dementia. And it's really surprising. But if anyone wants to join the SURF group and they've got dementia and they care, I would strongly recommend it. All you've got to do is live in Liverpool. We meet the first Friday in every month, and we strongly recommend that you come along, because this is a group that gets actions done. It's not a group that sits around and makes playthings and paints and that. This is a group that changes policies, and it's an action group.
Indeed, Ruth was mentioning transport a moment ago, and you're an ex-railwayman, I think, yourself. So, I mean, I gather that there is an action group or a committee which is particularly looking into the problems of transport for people with dementia.
Yeah, we have a subgroup of the Dementia Action Alliance, which is the Transport and Environment Group, which I sit on with Ruth and Life Story Network. And what we're doing is we've been out and we've spoke to the train operators, the bus operators, and we've opened their eyes, because what they thought was right doesn't work for people with dementia. And I think the best thing they said to us was, you can make a difference to us. And they've said, will you come when we redesign the buses, because we needed the input of people with dementia right from the start. And that's what's been missing. People haven't come and spoke to people with dementia at the start. They've built it and said, make that fit you. And it doesn't work like that.
And another group, which is, or another target group which you have, is the question of diversity, because I think dementia is a big issue with BME communities, isn't it?
It's a mega problem, because to actually scratch the surface of them groups, because, for instance, the Chinese community, they don't accept that people have dementia, the elder, because they look after their elderly in the East more than we do in the West. So they don't accept that dementia is an illness. They think it's a regression back to your childhood, which is part of their culture.
One of your task groups, I think, is to deal with the question of diversity and the implications of dementia for the BME community.
Indeed, we have a large multi-ethnic community in Liverpool, and one of the things that we've learned is that there's a huge amount of stigma about dementia in certain communities, and for that reason some people with dementia in some of the BME communities are very reluctant to identify themselves as having that diagnosis. So we have to find different ways of reaching them and offering them support and help and advice. We've got various ways of doing that. For example, in the Chinese community, we're running some tea houses that Chinese community can come to, and that includes people who have dementia, but they don't have to disclose that they've got that. It's getting communities to talk about dementia and to realise that that's okay. It's all right to talk about it.
And now, Ruth, there's going to be a special week, Dementia Awareness Week coming up. Can you tell us a bit what's going to happen then?
Yes, we have Dementia Awareness Week in May. It's the week beginning the 18th of May. And there's a week of activities that will be going on nationally, but also that we're promoting locally. And one of the things that we are doing is working with local businesses to help them work out how to improve their service to customers with dementia. So very much focused on customer service, which is obviously what most businesses are interested in, but also the physical environment. Tommy described some difficulties about the way that places are designed or furnished. So we're going to be running a big event at the Town Hall on the 21st of May. It's for any Liverpool business to come along, find out more about dementia, and to find out how we can help them improve their service to people with dementia. And it's in their business interest to do that, because we know some people with dementia don't come into town because they're not confident that they'll be able to find their way around particular shopping areas, or they might choose to go to a particular supermarket because they know they'll be welcomed and then they'll be able to find their way around. So it's in the interests of businesses to get this right.
Ruth, Tommy, thank you very much indeed. Join us in a few minutes' time to find out a bit more about the Town Hall event for businesses. Welcome back. I've been joined now by Jack Coots, who's a member of the Dementia Action Alliance, and by Gina Shaw, who is herself living with dementia. Gina, just tell us a little bit about what this means in your daily life.
Living with dementia can mean different things each day, really. One of the main issues is obviously forgetfulness. We can forget things from the day before sometimes, but we can also remember a lot of things. You tend to remember more things from further back in your past. And so I have to keep a daily planner on my wall in order to know what day it is, what I've done the day before and what I'm doing that day and the next day.
Okay. But one of your main concerns too really is just making everyday life, shops and businesses and so on, a little more dementia aware and dementia friendly, am I right?
That is one of our campaigns, yes. In our group we have decided that we are going to work together to study shops and to do surveys in shops, so that we can see what the issues are. So we've actually done that already. We've undertaken that sort of exercise, and we've come up with quite a few issues that I didn't even realise existed. Things like changing rooms are a huge issue, because if you have dementia as a woman, I might need my carer, my husband, to come into a changing room with me, and that's not allowed.
Right.
And the same for, the opposite sex. It's a very difficult issue.
I was reading an article in the paper the other day about a town, it's Bruges in Belgium, where
Yes.
they have dementia-aware and dementia-friendly shops when they have badges on the outside to show people that the shopkeepers themselves are friendly and helpful and understanding. Is that something which we would like to aim for?
Absolutely, that is what our aim is, that we will be able to emulate what's happening at Bruges. And we are making inroads into that already by setting up our groups and by being able to speak about the issues and how you can overcome those issues at our event in May.
Now, tell us a bit about this event.
It's going to be a fabulous time. It's going to be fun, because if you come to a Dementia Friends session, which you'll be able to do at that event, it's really good fun. And you will learn a lot. You'll learn things that can be life skills, not just for people with dementia. Because the main thing when you're helping somebody with dementia is to be kind and supportive. And, that's a life skill for anybody. And the other issues are that we have identified in our group is going to shops and the design of shops, the colours that are used there. People, when they have dementia, their perception changes. So we perceive things differently than others. And that can cause problems. Things like if there's a dark area on a carpet, we could perceive that as a hole. So we would walk round that, and then people think, oh, she's doodle-alley, she's walking round in circles. And it's not that. It just takes a slight change in that design to make it friendly for everybody.
That's really interesting, I must say. So, Jack, tell us a little bit about Dementia Awareness Week and some of the events which are going to be happening during it.
Well, Dementia Awareness Week is from the 18th to the 24th of May. It's an Alzheimer's Society initiative, and this year the theme that they've adopted is to get across the message that life doesn't end when dementia begins, and that very much fits in with the theme of our event at the Town Hall. There'll be events of all kinds happening across the city, as indeed across the country. Some of them include in Everton in the community at Everton Football Ground. There's going to be dementia awareness events taking place. There's also events at the House of Memories at Museum of Liverpool, and many others happening across the city. We're hoping to publicise those on Bay TV's community notice board before very long.
Sure, we'll be able to help you with that. But tell us a bit about the Town Hall event then on the 21st.
Yeah, it started off with an offer from the Lord Mayor, Erica Kemp. When she became Lord Mayor, she chose 4 causes that she particularly wanted to support during her year of office, and dementia was one of those. And a few months back, she came to the Dementia Action Alliance and said she wanted to make the Town Hall available on the particular date of the 21st of May for whatever purpose that we thought was most appropriate. And in the Dementia Action Alliance, we thought that spreading dementia awareness amongst businesses, particularly shops and services, was a high priority for the reasons that Gina has described before. So we thought we would use the Town Hall as an opportunity to spread that awareness and help businesses to recognise why they should become dementia friendly, not just because it's a good thing to do and it's the corporate social responsibility thing to do, but also because it's good business for them. They can attract, they can retain customers by being more aware of dementia and spending time and a bit more attention to make sure that their shops and services are suitable for people who want to use them.
Have you had the impression that businesses have suddenly thought, oh, hang on, I hadn't thought of that? Dementia is something which doesn't presumably feature very high on their agenda.
Yeah, it's true to say there's a few businesses which have been ahead of the game, who've recognised that and made some moves to begin with. So, but the vast majority, you're absolutely right, Chris. We had a small focus group meeting of a few selected business leaders first, just to ask them what they thought of our idea of having this event at the Town Hall. And we're very pleased that we had some big players who turned up, Marks and Spencer, Spencer's, Barclays Bank, Lloyd's Pharmacy, the Liverpool Business Improvement District Company, all came along, and they thought it was a fantastic idea to run this event because they recognised that this was an important issue. They recognised it was important for them to attract and retain customers, how many people with dementia and their families might choose not to go into particular shops or not to use particular services because of problems. So we got a really encouraging response from those businesses that we met, that if we ran this event, very much aiming to help businesses to become dementia friendly, that we should expect a lot of support, to the extent that we decided not just to hold this as a single event, but we'll make this event the beginning of a whole year's campaign, starting off from the city centre, which is what the town hall event is focusing on, but spreading out right across Liverpool to help Liverpool to become one of the country's first dementia friendly cities, very much as you said that Bruges has been in Europe.
And one of the events is going to be a film.
Yes, there's a film that's been getting produced, and I think Gina can tell you something about that in particular.
Okay. Gina, tell us about the film then.
It's a film to demonstrate the issues that people living with dementia have and how you can overcome those issues. And it's a small company that's producing it, and they know us very well. And they're very dementia friendly themselves.
And what actually happens in the film?
There's different scenarios, obviously, in the film. It shows us going about our daily lives and what sorts of things we need to do in order to be able to live a full life.
Fantastic. So just remind us again when Dementia Week is.
Dementia Week, it's Dementia Awareness Week. It's the 18th to the 24th of May. This event is at the Town Hall is on the 21st of May. It's running from 8:30 in the morning through to 3:30 in the afternoon. We're inviting all shops, services, every kind of business that serves customers, whether it's retail, shopping, whether it's finance, health, food and drink, restaurants, cafes, hotels, cinemas, theatres, anywhere that serves customers. So they're all invited to attend during the day. We have a breakfast briefing for senior managers first thing in the morning, and then during the day there'll be sessions about the environment and premises and also about customer service as well as Dementia Friends. So anyone who is involved, whether the senior managers, ordinary managers or staff, is very welcome to attend, and the booking can be arranged online at here's a test of memory for me, dementiaaction.org.uk/events, or by ringing 0151 298 2444.
Pretty good. That was a lot of information there. Jack, Gina, thank you very much indeed. That's it for All About Health for this time. Join us again next time.